Are joining in. Welcome. My name is Lavinia and I'm part of the Docsity team. Today with us are Solveig Stephens, Sofia Bugge, and Henrik Edlund from Linnaeus University in Sweden. I want to welcome all of you who are joining in tonight. I think a lot more people are connecting, so in the meantime, if you want, you can pop in the chat where you are connecting from. Of course, this is a webinar and a presentation, so you will get to know more about Linnaeus University. After the presentation, there will be a Q&A session. So if you have any questions related to the academic offer at Linnaeus, anything related to student life, please pop your questions in the Q&A box. And the panelists will make sure to go over them at the end of this webinar. So for those who just joined in, once again, welcome. My name is Lavinia, and it is my pleasure to welcome you tonight to this webinar with Linnaeus University. I will now leave the floor to Sofia. Thank you, Sofia.
Thank you so much. Hey guys, so nice to meet you. We are a little bit curious about where you guys are from. So if you want to just write in the chat where you guys are from, that would be fun to see. So yeah, thank you so much for joining today. I hope you can see my presentation now.
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Good. We are Linnaeus University. And as you can see in the picture here, this is our brand new library that we built just in the harbor with an ocean view. So you can actually sail to school if that's what you wish. So Linnaeus University is a modern international university in the Småland region of Sweden. And I just want to start by presenting us. You heard our names, but my name is Sofia Bugge, and I'm a communication officer at Linnaeus University, and I work specifically with international student recruitment. And with me today, I also have my colleague Henrik Edlund.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, my name is Henrik, and I'm working with Sofia, also as a communications officer and also in the International Student Recruitment Office. So, yeah.
Thank you, Henrik. And we also have Solveig here, if you want to say hi, Solveig.
Yes. Hi, guys. So my name is Solveig. I'm right now doing my second year of my master in business process control and supply chain management. And I think I can also say that I'm the new student ambassador. So if you guys have any questions in regards to the student life to student, then you're more than welcome to ask them. And I will try to answer as many as I can.
Thank you, Solveig. And if you want to see more of Solveig, I would recommend you guys to follow us on Instagram, because Solveig, as she mentioned, is one of our student ambassadors. So you'll see her there a little bit during the fall. So what are we going to talk about today? I want to tell you some words about Sweden, first and foremost, and then about Linnaeus University, a little bit about how to apply, because actually the application for the autumn semester is opening now on Monday for autumn semester 2022. And then we'll have a Q&A. But if you have questions during the webinar, feel free to write them in the Q&A box, and Solveig and Henrik will answer them. But a lot of the questions you may have will be answered during the webinar as well. So a little bit about Sweden. Sweden is quite a small country. It has a population of 10 million people, and the capital is Stockholm. It's a very secularized country, and it's open to many different religions. In Sweden, you are free to be who you are and to have the belief you have or not. So that's something that is good to know. Swedes are also the second highest proficiency in English as the second language in the world, according to Education First English Proficiency English Index. So 90% of the population is fluent in English, so you will get around pretty well knowing just English and not Swedish. A little bit about Swedish culture. Swedes are known for being friendly, helpful, and maybe a little bit reserved in the beginning. But once you are their friend, you are their friend for life. Something that's very Swedish is fika, which means taking a coffee break. And in fact, the Nordic countries are in the top in the world when it comes to drinking coffee. So we drink the most coffee in the world, which is ironic because we can't really grow coffee here. Some famous Swedes are Greta Thunberg, that you can see in the background, Avicii, Zlatan, ABBA, Swedish House Mafia, Lykke Li, Robin. And Sweden is actually on the top 5 list in the world when it comes to innovation, safety, democracy and human rights, sustainability, and gender equality. We also have a lot of famous entrepreneurs and companies, for example, IKEA, H&M, Ericsson, Volvo, Spotify, and so on. Sweden is also famous for having a very beautiful nature, and Swedes love nature. So the country has a very varied nature, from up in the north with high mountains and freshwater streams, to down in the north or in the south where you have a lot of forest, but also beaches and fields. Actually, over half of the country is covered in forest, and almost 10% is covered in water. We are quite few people on a big area, and the population density is 24.5 inhabitants per square kilometer. So you'll have quite a lot of space when you live here. And just for a comparison, you can have Germany that has 240 inhabitants per square kilometer. So that's quite a lot more. Something that is quite unique with Sweden, it's allemansrätten, the right of public access. So that means that you are allowed to roam freely in the countryside, swim and travel by boat in someone else's water, and pick mushrooms and berries in the forest. And as long as the land is not cultivated, and as long as no damage is caused, that means that most of Sweden is yours to explore. Sweden has some different weathers and different seasons. So we have 4 different seasons, and depending on the season, the weather can change quite a lot. So it can be from minus 15 degrees Celsius to above 25 degrees Celsius. So you'll experience quite a lot of different temperatures. That's all I'm going to say about Sweden in general. And if you want to learn more, I would recommend you to go into sweden.se, where you can read a lot about Swedish culture, Swedish weather, and everything else worth knowing about Sweden, really. So if we look a little bit at academic studies in Sweden, 1 semester of full-time studies is 30 credits. A bachelor program is 180 credits, which is 3 years. And a master program is usually 120 credits, 2 years, but there's also master programs that are only 1 year. You can also build your own degree by putting together different courses. The study style in Sweden is quite different. It's quite an informal environment, and you can call your teacher by the first name, and there is room for discussions between the teacher and the students. The most common way is also to have only 1 course at a time, which means that you can put all your focus into one thing, but it also means that you don't have an exam season, which is quite unique to Sweden and quite convenient, I would say. The schedules are quite flexible, and they change every week or to every course, and you also have changing exam forms. So it can involve from essays to seminars, written exams, and so on. You also have a lot of group work, which is a good way to meet new people and get some new perspectives. If you want to learn more about studying in Sweden, I recommend studyinSweden.se, which is a webpage where you find a lot of more information about studying in Sweden in general. That's all I'm going to say about studying in Sweden. And now let's focus on Linnaeus University, which is located in Sweden, which I hope you know by now. So Linnaeus University has 44,000 students and 15,000 full-time equivalents. We have 2,000 employees, And this makes us the 6th largest university in Sweden in the terms of number of students. We're actually one of Sweden's youngest universities, and we were established in 2010 through a merger between 2 already existing universities, Växjö University and University of Kalmar. So that is how we became one university, and that's actually why we have 2 different campuses, one in Växjö and one in Kalmar. But I will get back to you with more information about that. Linnaeus University offers high quality education. We have more than 50 programs taught in English and over 500 courses that you can choose between, both on bachelor level and master level. We are ranked on in Times Higher Education Impact Ranking. We were ranked among top 100 out of 1,150 universities when it comes to quality education. We are also ranked on Shanghai ranking, where we're listed among top 800 to 900 out of 18,000 universities in the world. So as a student at Linnaeus University, you will receive an education of high quality. We have a lot of different areas where we have programs in. We have business and economics, design, computer science and IT, mathematics. That's the ones we have on bachelor level. And on master, we have business and economics, behavioral science, computer science and IT, cultural studies and social science, design and language, mathematics, natural science, technology, and engineering. So I'm just fast going to scroll through a little bit about the different programs we have. As I mentioned, we have business and economics, computer science and IT, design and humanities. And actually, Linnaeus University is one of the universities in Sweden that has the most bachelor programs taught in English, because that's quite unique to Swedish universities. Most have only bachelor programs taught in Swedish. So it's quite difficult for international students to study bachelor in Sweden. But we are one of the universities that offer quite a lot of options for that. In social and behavioral science, we actually have a new bachelor program, Peace and Development. It's not new, but it's new to be taught in English. So that's something we're really happy about to have now. So that was a little bit about our programs. I also want to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship, because Linnaeus University is located in the heart of Swedish entrepreneurship. And it is an environment where innovation, creativity, and new ways of thinking are born. So the ambition of Linnaeus University is to stand out as a national and international level through the way we work with entrepreneurship and to be able to present the highest proportion of entrepreneurs among the students. We believe that entrepreneurial culture is developed by attitudes and competences, which makes our student more attractive on the labor market. Linnaeus University also work in close collaboration with major companies together with our students. Some of them are IKEA and Södra. IKEA is the biggest furniture company in the world, and Södra is a major company when it comes to the forestry industry. So as I mentioned, collaboration with IKEA, we have a special one that is called the Bridge, and it's a multidisciplinary research and education collaboration with life at home and the conditions of production. And this is something that we do together with in the master program, Innovation Through Business, Engineering and Design. So if you are interested in doing a master's that have collaboration with major companies, this is one of the master programs we recommend. Linnaeus University is an international university. So here you can experience the best of what Sweden has to offer, while at the same time you are just one interaction away from every continent. So if you look a little bit at Linnaeus University in the world, we have 2,200 active international students. We have roughly 900 incoming international fee-paying students each year. And we also send out about 290 exchange students every year. And they can choose between 780 partner universities in more than 80 countries. So that means that even if you come to Linnaeus University to study, you can also spend part of your time here abroad. The largest student groups are from Germany, Pakistan, China, France, USA, Japan, India, and Iran, so quite a mix. Linnaeus University is also a cultural university. It's a place where culture flows freely and where creativity and expression is allowed to take many different forms. So we have dance, music, concerts, exhibitions, art shows, and a lot of collaborations between artists and scientists where they can try to mash art and science and inspire each other. We are also a sustainable university. Through our research and our programs and by practicing what we preach, we create a sustainable university, ecologically, economically, and socially. And Times Higher Education Impact Ranking ranked us among top 100 when it comes to climate action and sustainable cities. There's a lot to say about how we work with sustainability. So if you want to see more, you can read more at lnu.se/en/sustainable university. I also want to tell you a little bit about how we are located. I hope that you by now know that we are located in Sweden and in the southern part of Sweden. However, we are a two-campus university. So we have one campus in Växjö and one in Kalmar, and it's 1 hour by train between the two locations. The easiest way to get here is to take a plane to Copenhagen Airport, and from there you can take a train that takes 2.5 to 3.5 hours. If you want to go to Stockholm, it's 3 to 4 hours by train. So I also want to tell you a little bit about our different campuses. Our first campus is Växjö campus. Växjö has 90,000 inhabitants, and it's one of Sweden's fastest growing cities. It is also known to be the greenest city in Europe because it has a major focus on sustainable development. But I also like to call it the greenest city because it is surrounded by forest. And since it is located in the heavily forested part of Småland, it has contributed to that the university has a major focus on forestry and wood industry and research about that. Something that is quite unique with Växjö is that we have a US-style campus, which means that you basically have everything you need on campus. Most of the students, they live on campus, they have their friends on campus, the gym, or other leisure activities, restaurants, bars, and the lecture halls, and so on, everything within a couple of minutes. And actually, when you leave the campus in Växjö, it says something like you're leaving the bubble. And when you come back, it says, welcome back to the student bubble. So it is really something unique, and you can experience the full student life. Kalmar, on the other hand, is the student city by the sea. It is an ancient city with a lot of history and a lot of beautiful old buildings. It is a little bit smaller, and it has around 70,000 inhabitants. In Kalmar, we have a city-integrated university location, and we actually built new facilities in 2019, so they are brand new. And the picture we saw in the beginning, I don't know if you remember the big yellow building, that is the new library in Kalmar that opened last year. In Kalmar, it's also a lot of internationally prominent research in natural sciences, and this is because it is located just by the Baltic Sea. So therefore, it's a lot of research connected to the Baltic Sea. I also want to tell you a little bit about the student life, because we have an active student life, buddy programs, friends, family projects, student unions, and student associations. We also have a large community of international students and a long tradition of internationalization that offers cultural insights from all over the world. So I talked for quite some time now, so I think I'll show you a small film about being a student here.
I did have a culture clash that in Sweden they drink so too much fika.
I had this idea that Sweden is such a beautiful country and it's so nice and the weather is beautiful.
Coming here, I was yeah, as long as you have an open mind, you're looking to make friends, it's great.
I just was like, let's try that.
My name is Juan Carlos Celedon Pinto. I study Sea Captain.
My name is Fatma Zahra Abdulatif. I am from Sudan and I study international affairs.
My name is Sabir. I'm from Bangladesh. I'm studying the marketing master's program here.
I remember the first lecture we had, the professor just gave us all these papers and that was like the outline of the program. I was sitting there like, so are you going to teach anything?
So here, it's not so much that your tutors will give you an assigned task. They're more there to guide you.
Yeah, so they really rely, like they want you to rely on yourself.
And they offer kind of general guidelines, but you have to spend a lot of time on your own, studying, understanding what the learning outcomes are, and making sure that you achieve it.
I volunteer with Amnesty here in campus, so that's something that I'm very interested in like social issues. But there's other things you can do, and you can find like the group that you want and that shares your interests.
Maybe you can sometimes get the impression that maybe Swedish people are a bit reserved, kind of distant, but that hasn't been my experience.
Because Swedish people are very open and they're very active as well. And they're very, very polite. So for me, it was, I think for everyone as an international student, I would say it's very easy to get friends and to make friendships with Swedish students.
The lifestyle in Sweden, I think, it's very easy to get used to. It kind of draws you in.
Every single minute, they just want to eat a fika with some cinnamon rolls or some Swedish pastry, which is very nice. And I was kind of surprised because in my home country, we're not really used to drink coffee so much.
It's very laid back in a certain way, but at the same time, it allows you to achieve a lot of your goals.
Okay, so that was a small video about the student life at Linnaeus University. And now I thought we could actually have a little chat with Solveig.
Yes.
Yeah. So Solveig, can you tell us a little bit about how it was to move to Sweden?
Yeah, I moved here, that was now over a year ago. So it was last year in August. So it was still in the summertime. And I was a little afraid, to be honest, because like you move to a new country, you don't know anyone. But in the beginning of the semester, there's always like an introduction week. So there's like the big one for the Swedish students, and also some international students go to it. And then there's also like an extra for the international students. So I met a lot of my friends there, and also met a lot of, internationally minded Swedes in the beginning, because as you heard, sometimes it's a little bit tricky. But once you have a Swedish friend, you have them like for life. So, but yeah, it was, I thought it would be worse. So actually after, I think like a week or two, I was kind of settled in. And then I went like to starting with the like student life, in the sense of like all my classes started, because I arrived like 1.5 weeks before the semester started, because I thought then I would have some time to get used to how to get around, even though it was, for me, it was just online classes, but still I was like, okay, I want to know where campus is, where everything is. So I think it's not too bad. Like the most difficult step is to actually, the most difficult step is to actually decide to move. And once you decided to move, then you just get like excited, and once you're here you're like, okay, this is real now, but it's super nice.
But did you find it difficult to make friends, or the introduction week helped you?
The introduction week really helped, plus I'm quite a social person, so I think for me it's also a little bit easier, but then again, the introduction week really helps, and obviously you decide by yourself how much you want to do. But the introduction week really helps because you have a lot of people that are in the same situation, and you have the students that already have been there for a year or two. So if you then have some questions, they can also help. So it's a really like helping environment and just like welcoming. So it's not too difficult.
That sounds good. So what do you think of the Swedish culture?
I like it. So like the parts with the fika, it's completely mine. So I'm often saying like, okay, I'm gonna go now for a walk, and then after the walk, with like going for a walk is also quite a Swedish thing, or being in the nature, and like either taking some fika with you or going for fika after. But after you went for the walk, then you're like, well, I was now active, so now I can also treat myself with one of the delicious pastries. So it's like a win-win situation.
Yeah, yeah. Solveig is into the fika. Like we work a little bit together since she's a student ambassador, and she's always like, "It's a cinnamon bun day today. It's kladdkakans day." Like all these pastries that are Swedish, which is great. I love it as well. So
we did actually had like another food celebration day today, which is not a sweet one, but we had another one. So
it was a shrimp sandwich day.
Yes, it was a shrimp sandwich.
Did you have a sandwich?
Yeah, I did. Obviously, I had to with one of my roommates. So I'm living in a shared apartment with 3 roommates, and she's actually one of the ones that moved out in July because she moved to her own apartment. And we started it when she moved in because she is a Swede, and she was like, yeah, we've always been doing this. So we started, and now we still do it. So then we're texting each other. We're like, you know which day is coming up? So yeah, we went for our sandwich today.
Oh, that's great. So was it difficult to find accommodation when you came to Sweden?
I wouldn't say that it was easy, but it is possible. So there are a lot of helpful links. Plus, like when you know that you want to move, register as early for the points if you want to live on campus. And otherwise, there are a lot of links also for private housing. So for example, I live in the city, so I'm one of the rare ones that lives outside the bubble. But it's not too bad. So I think after I got my result that I got accepted, I had my housing within a month, which was actually kind of quick, but I was also kind of persistent. So I was like, so is the place actually free? Because I would like to. So it is possible. It's definitely not super easy, but if you want to move, you're always going to find a place. So.
And also, if you decide to come and study at Linnaeus University, we will have webinars closer to the autumn semester where we will go through how to apply for housing and so on. So, yeah. So why did you choose Linnaeus University?
I did my bachelor's in supply chain management as one of my majors, and I really liked it. So I was looking then for also doing my master's in supply chain management, and there are not that many master programs that also have the connection between practice and theory, because well, it was mentioned before, but we actually had Södra as one of our partner companies for one of our projects. So our professors always try to have the connection between the theory and the real life practice. And that was one of my points that I was like, I don't want to have it completely theoretical. I would like to have some actual companies coming in and also presenting real life cases. And then the list got like shorter and shorter. I was like, okay, I've already did my bachelor's in Denmark, so I like this study system in Scandinavia. And then I found the study program at Linnaeus, and I was like, yep, first choice, gonna hopefully work out. And luckily it did.
I'm glad to hear. So what do you think of the academic culture in Sweden? How is it to study here?
It is, for me, it's then again a little bit more closer to what I did in my bachelor's, because I would say it's a theory or more like a Scandinavian standard, to have it more on like a personal basis with the professors, to have a lot of group work, and also to have it a little bit more, self-study wise. So for me, I knew what I was like signing up for. And it is like now this case. So we get an assignment, then we have a week to work on it, and then we have our seminar for it. So for me, I knew what I was signing up, and I was like, this is perfect, because you can like individually plan what you're gonna do, and you do need to be like behind of it, but once you have it all like figured out, then it's good.
Yeah, that's something that is the Nordic countries generally, it's quite a lot of your own responsibility to make sure that you actually learn and that you do your studies. So you have like some lectures, but most of them aren't even mandatory, and then they expect you to learn.
Yeah,
but you will if you just like put some time and effort in.
It's a lot of reading that you have to do. So you get a proper you don't get reading lists. It's more like you decide what kind of topic you will be interested, and at least for the master program. So for the bachelor program, it will be different. But for the master program, it will be, okay, this is the general guidelines. You decide the topic that you're interested in, and you should have this kind of amount of like references and everything. And then, it's all the self-studying. So you decide on your own.
So just one last question before we move on. Would you recommend students to choose Sweden as their destination of study? Yes.
I love it. I also, like, over the summer, I did a road trip through Sweden. So I just had my car, a tent, and a sleeping bag and some other stuff in the car. But just by like the first year, I was like, okay, like I'm really like, I think I can say I'm in love with the country and the culture and everything. And so then I just took my car and just explored the country. And I would definitely recommend it.
I'm glad to hear. Well, and also if you want to see more from the road trip Solveig did, we actually got to follow her. So if you go into Linnaeus University on Instagram and look at our saved stories, you'll see a lot of Solveig and her travels there. So yeah, thank you so much, Solveig. I just muted myself instead of sharing my screen. That was not my purpose. Yeah, so let's continue. I'm not going to talk for that much more until we go over to your questions. I see that we already got some, so I'm really happy about that, and we'll look at them soon. I just wanted to show you some of our alumni. So among them, you will find international policy experts, you'll find Olympic gold medalists, you'll find major business leaders, and you'll find the Minister of Social Affairs in Sweden. So all of these people studied at Linnaeus University. And actually, our latest alumni study showed that 78% of our students had a job that requires higher education just 3 months after they graduated from Linnaeus University. So that's, of course, really positive for us to hear and something we are very proud of. So I saw that some of you guys asked about scholarship programs. So Linnaeus University offers scholarships for non-EU citizens. And it should also be said that if you are an EU citizen, you can study in Sweden for free. You don't have to pay the tuition fee then. But for students that are non-EU citizen, we have some different scholarships. So we have a scholarship called Linnaeus University Scholarship that covers up to 75% of the tuition fee. It is for master students. And if you want to apply to this, you have to put Linnaeus University as your first choice when you apply. You can also apply for the Swedish Institute Scholarship Program. It is a scholarship that covers a full tuition fee and also your living costs. And we had approximately 100 scholarship holders for the summer and autumn semester of 2020. So why should you choose Linnaeus University? Well, we have highly praised university environments. We were ranked as number 1 and 2 in terms of campus building, campus environment, and nice places to be in the International Student Barometer 2014. 2014 is starting to be quite long ago, but since then we built brand new facilities in Kalmar. We also have an informal teaching style, a study environment that stimulates creativity, curiosity, and critical thinking. And you always have teaching and research staff in close proximity to you as a student. Here is also our campus in Kalmar that I've been talking quite a lot about because it's so beautiful. At Linnaeus University, you can also get a high quality of life. As I mentioned, Växjö is declared the greenest city in Europe, and Kalmar is a charming medieval tourist city located by the Baltic Sea that also been nominated as Sweden's summer cities many years. Even if you live in Växjö or Kalmar, you can bike all around the city and you can bike to university. And you can swim in the ocean or swim in the lakes and walk in the forest, and all of this just within a couple of minutes from where you live. Creativity, innovation, sustainability, equality, and diversity is strong Swedish values, and likewise, it's strong values at Linnaeus University. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about how to apply. In Sweden, all applications are done through the same web page. So they are all done through universityadmissions.se. It's also a perfect site to look at when you're searching for like the general requirements, depending on what country you studied in before, English requirements, deadlines, and yeah, a lot of the information you need to apply to a university in Sweden. So the application deadline is 15th of January. And as I mentioned before, it opens now on Monday, so soon. And the last date to support application is 1st of February, and the notification of selection result is in the end of March. So as I said, it opens tomorrow. No, it opens on Monday. And yeah, open until 15th of January. I would also recommend you to follow us on social media. We have a Facebook page. We also have an Instagram page that I talked about before. There you can see a lot about from our student ambassadors and also about the daily life at Linnaeus University. We also have a YouTube account with an international playlist where you can see a lot from our campuses and meet our students. Some other useful links, lnu.se, our webpage, where you can find our educational offer and requirements and tuition fees and so on. We also have an inspirational portal, lnu.se/study, where it's nice to just browse around to learn more about life at Linnaeus. Universityadmission.se, the application portal. And then also studyinsweden.se that I mentioned before, with general information about studying in Sweden. If you have questions, you can email study@lnu.se. And if it's questions relating to your admission, it's admission@lnu.se. You can also chat with our student and with the international office to ask questions at lnu.se/en/chat. So if you want to get to know more of our students and learn more, I would recommend going there. So that was actually all I'm going to say for now. Thank you so much for listening. And I hope that you got inspired and learned something. So yeah, let's see what we have, what questions we have.
Thank you, Sophia. Thank you very much for the interesting presentation. We actually have a lot of questions, both in the Q&A box and in chat. I'm just going to start with one on the Q&A box. So specifically, a student is asking if there are master's degree courses in art history.
Yeah, I can take that question. And in art history, unfortunately we don't have any major related to art history. We have some majors in social science, for example, international affairs and peace and development. But in humanities or social science, we don't have anything close to history or art history, unfortunately.
No, the only program we have is colonial and post-colonial studies, but it's not so much focused on art, unfortunately.
Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, Henrik. Somebody is actually telling us, I just realized that in Sweden, PhD studies are like a job. I checked on the website you mentioned. You haven't mentioned PhD programs, but I see them listed on Linnaeus University. I'm interested in psychology, clinical psychology. So if that is a job, then I guess I should find a professor who is studying the areas I'm interested in and had a master thesis in. Also, would you be so kind to help me in by listing the admission requirements for PhD studies?
Yeah, basically, this person is right about that a PhD is like a job. So you apply for it just like you apply for a job, and if you get in and get accepted, then it's all the PhDs in Linnaeus University is 5 years, and you will be doing your research for 80%, and 20% of the time you will be doing like teaching in some way to support the teaching in bachelor or master level, and you will be paid salary just like if you were employed. And that also means that all the PhD positions that is available is not available where you apply for programs. It's instead available under jobs and vacancies. So if you go to our website, lnu.se, and then you search for jobs and vacancies, and there you can see all the available PhD positions at the moment. Yeah, we have psychology, and we do some research in psychology. So you should always check it out and see if there is some possible PhD positions available.
Thank you very much, Henrik. So somebody is asking about the admission process. So how does it actually work? Maybe you can explain it to us in a more detailed way.
Yeah, while I explain, maybe I can ask Sophia to put up the slide again from the PowerPoint so they can get the website.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so basically you apply through a website called universityadmissions.se, and this is like one application portal for all the universities in Sweden, and it's basically a one-stop shop. So it's like applying for bachelors, it's applying for masters, it's applying for all universities in Sweden, and you also upload all your documents when you do the application here. You also pay for the application fee, which is 900 Swedish krona, and everything you do on this website. So you go on this website, you create an account, you choose the programs or the courses that you're interested in. And then since you can choose from different universities in Sweden, you also have to rank which program that you think is your number 1 choice, and then you can rank it number 1, number 2, number 3. And after you ranked it, you will get to another site where you upload your documents. So there you have to upload like your earlier transcripts from high school or your earlier university studies, your English level, passport, a copy of your passport, and depending on what major you're applying for, maybe there is other needed documents that you need to upload. And after that, you pay for your application fee. If you're a student outside of Europe, you have to pay for the application fee. If you're a European student, then you don't need to pay for the application fee. And the application is opened, it opens next Monday, as Sophia said.
Yeah, on Monday.
Yeah, on Monday, the 18th. So from that day on, all until January 15, you can apply. And then you have until February 1st to upload supporting documents like your transcript or English level or whatever document you might need some extra time for. And then the result will come out in the end of March.
Thank you, Henrik. So A student is asking, is it possible to start a master program in online format? So have an online degree, I assume.
It depends on the major. During the pandemic right now, we offered all the programs online, so everybody could start the first year online. But we don't know how it will look next year. We hope and expect that it will go back to normal, so we will be back on campus. And that means that many of the programs would not be possible to study online, but there will still be exemptions, and we will still have a lot of programs that is taught where we have an online track or where we only have an online education for those programs. So you can always check online, check the program that you're interested in, and see if it's offered on distant learning, and then you can start and study it online. And you can also check with the teachers, because since we've offered all the programs distant learning right now, maybe some of them will still offer this option even after we're back to campus.
So you can actually go into our webpage and you can sort our programs on like if they are on campus or online, and then you can see all the programs that we have that are completely online.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have a lot of questions coming in. Keep them coming. So a student is asking if there are any PhD programs in earth sciences and technology.
Yeah, since the PhD positions is like a job, and it depends on where the funding is, like which teachers or researchers has the funding. So we don't know, it changes from day to day. So you just have to go online and check, because it's not like there is a specific application period for it. It can be changed, yeah, every day. So just keep an eye on that page and see when the suitable position comes that you're interested in.
Thank you, Henrik. Okay, so we have several questions actually about the process, the application process. Specifically, a couple of people have been asking, do they have to acquire their bachelor's degree before applying for the master's studies? And before applying to the bachelor's, do they have to be out of high school?
If we start with if they're going to study a master's degree, then there is no problem if they apply during their last year of studies in their bachelor studies. And depending a little bit on which country and which education system they're studying in, it can require a little bit different documents. If you're studying in Europe and having the ECTS credit system, then it's very easy, and because we also have the same ECTS credit system, so then you just apply with the documents needed, and you don't need to have any other extra documents, basically, as long as you apply during your last year and apply before January 15. It's yeah, it's okay. If you're coming from outside of Europe, or you're not studying a ECTS credit system and you study your bachelor degree, then maybe it's always good to include a study certificate as well, where your university writes a certificate on when you will graduate and what time you will graduate and how many credits you will have when you graduate if you pass all the courses. For high school students that is interested in going for a bachelor, then we cannot offer we cannot give them the offer until they have finished their high school degree and have the diploma. So then you have to wait until you finish high school and until you have the graduation certificate. After that, you can apply, and that it will be usually for most students in most of the high school systems, that would mean that they had to apply quite late, and it will be a late application. And then it depends on if there's still available seats in the program that we can take them in to those programs.
Thank you, Henrik. So a lot more questions are coming in about the actual application process. So specifically, what is the level of English required to apply for a master's program? Which level of English is required? I have a C1. So they are asking basically which level is required to get to the master's degree, and whether you accept other certifications besides IELTS.
Yeah, we accept a few others, but the most common ones that people or that we see most is IELTS or TOEFL, and the IELTS requirements is 6.5 overall band, and then for each band we require 5.5. And then we do accept quite many other English language tests. And if you want to know the specifics on each and every specific English test, I would recommend you to check the website that we talked about, the university admissions.se. There it is listed. The IELTS 6.5 is equal to what level of the other tests. So you can go in there and check for English level and requirements of English if you want to check your test and if that's okay or not.
I'll send the link for the English requirements in the chat.
That's great, Sophia. Thank you. Okay, so in the meantime, another student is asking us, so if I'm a student for computer science in Albania in second year, can I enroll? So I think we answered this partly earlier.
Yeah, we answered it partly. And if you want to do a credit transfer and go already after year 2 and study the rest of your bachelor's in Sweden, that's also possible. You just have to check if you can do a credit transfer, and that one we have to do, like the admissions office in our university have to check the credits that you have and see if they fit the program that you want to come and study in our university. And if you studied very similar courses, then it's absolutely possible to transfer the credits and move over as soon as possible.
Thank you, Henrik. Suza is asking us if there are programs in health or medicine.
We have a master program in health science that is possible to apply for. It's a 2-year master program, quite wide range of different courses that you study with the health focus, a little bit of global health, nursing, a little bit of everything, and it's a quite good program to check in and to check out if you're interested in studying health.
Thank you, Henrik. So Alban is asking us, do you offer programs starting in spring 2022?
We have courses starting in spring semester, but all our programs start in the autumn semester. So yeah, unfortunately you can study courses in the spring, but all the program starts autumn.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the ball, Alban. Okay, so about Swedish Institute Scholarship Program, what are the requirements, or do we have to navigate on the website? And what about if I have a work permit in Sweden? Do I get excluded from paying the tuition fee?
That was 2 very good questions. For the Study in Sweden scholarship, and they have some specific requirements. It's not available for all countries. They have a list of, I think it is 47 countries. That is on the website. It's listed which countries that is included in the scholarship, and they also have some specific extra scholarship for specific countries. So in total, maybe around 50 countries that can get the scholarship. And then they have a few requirements on your earlier working experience. I haven't checked this year, but last year they required 2-year working experience before you can apply for this scholarship as well. So I think it should be something similar this year. And if you fulfill those requirements, then you can apply for that scholarship. And then the second question was about working permit. If a person has a working permit in Sweden, yeah, if you have a working permit, then you don't need to pay that tuition fee.
Oh, that's great news. Okay, so more questions on the application process. So what do you think take into account when accepting a student, and are the grades of high school taken into account when admitting a student?
Yeah, it depends a little bit on the program. If you go onto the website and check the program that you're interested in, you will see like that they will have some kind of saying on how they do the selection result. Some write academic selection, and that means that they look at GPA. That would be the main thing that they look at. They look at your the number of credits you've been taking before and the GPA that you have. But some of them has something called individual selection, and that means that they have a little bit more, they look at a little bit more holistic view. They look at your GPA, they look at the credits you've been studying before, they look at your English level, and they also look at like work experience. They look at, yeah, a lot of different things. Maybe they have like requirement on a motivation letter or a portfolio or something like that. And that is also included in the holistic view and the decision on who they will accept to the program.
Thank you, Henrik. So I just wrote down some questions we got in the chat, not in the Q&A box. A student asked, I'm from Costa Rica and I would like to enroll in Linnaeus University for a technology career. So what would be the steps to enroll?
Yeah, I think we've gone through most of it, like the application process. So yeah, and we have a lot of engineering programs. So check out which of the programs that is your cup of tea, and then apply for it on universityadmissions.se.
I'll send the link for our engineering programs in the chat. And also we have a lot of our own webinars. So if you are planning to apply for this university, you can also join them, and because of course you'll have questions during the process of applying, and then we are here to help you with that.
Okay, so a lot of the questions that came in through by chat were about scholarships for people from Spain. So yes, we've covered this plenty, but yes, scholarships are offered to students with EU citizenship. But Henrik, if you want to elaborate more on that, please do.
We can say it one more time, like students with EU citizenship do not have to pay tuition fees, so they don't have to apply for scholarship because they are exempted from paying the tuition fee, so they study for free. Students outside of EU, they have to pay, and they can apply for scholarships. And we have a scholarship scheme in the university, and that one covers up to 75% of a tuition fee. And then you can also apply for the SI scholarship that covers the whole tuition fee and including living expenses as well. So there is 2 different scholarship schemes that you can apply for as well.
Thank you, Henrik. So Maria is asking, are there any masters related to business and management or economics?
Oh, there is a lot. We have, one of our biggest faculty is the School of Business and Economics, and there is a lot of master programs there. So no matter if you're interested in economics, as you talked about, we have an economics program. We have supply chain management, as Solveig was talking about. We have management, leadership, innovation, entrepreneurship, marketing. Yeah, basically anything you might be interested in. We have a lot of business programs. I will ask Sophia to send the link in the chat as well for the business programs.
Thank you very much. Theodora is asking if you offer any programs in human resources or pedagogy.
HR or what was the second one?
Pedagogy.
We have courses that is related to that in one way or another, especially like HR. We have like a leadership and management program where you learn a lot on things related to HR. We also have a psychology program that will require you to have studied 90 credits of psychology before, but that is called psychology and it's organization and work psychology. So they focus a lot on like the psychology within an organization or within a working group. So that's also highly related to HR. And they, if you have studied a HR background and have a minor in psychology, it's okay to go for this psychology major as well.
Thank you very much, Henrik. So our time is running out, but we do have one more minute to answer the last question, actually. So about the application process, do we have to go through an intermediary institution which converts our grades, like Uni Assist in Germany? I come from Albania and we use ECTs.
Yeah, if you use ECTS, it's no problem because it's the same as we use here. And even if you wouldn't be, if you would be coming from another country or another education system, there is no problem. You just apply and send in your documents. Actually, university admission is this joint platform with all the Swedish universities. And we also have like a joint force of people from the Ministry of Education. You can say that it's checking the documents and translating the transcripts into the ECTS credits. So if you're coming from or coming from a country with another education system, it's being translated by the people at university admissions. So it's you don't need to go for any third-party platform to do that.
That's amazing. Thank you, Henrik. Sophia, Solveig, do you want to add anything else before we say goodbye to our participants?
No, the only thing I want to say is thank you guys so much for joining. It was a pleasure to meet you. And if you want to meet us again, I sent you the link for when we will have our upcoming webinar. So you're more than welcome to join us there.
Thank you everyone for connecting tonight. It was a pleasure to host this webinar and to have Solveig, Sophia, and Henrik with us. Thank you so much for your interest in Linnaeus University. I hope this was very useful to you all, and I'm sure that Sophia, Henrik, and Solveig would love to see you at Linnaeus. I hope to see you again to the next webinar with Linnaeus, and I remind you all that at the end of this webinar you will get an email with the recording. So anything you might have missed, if you connected later, don't worry, it's all recorded and you can watch it whenever you want. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, and I hope to see you soon. I wish everyone a wonderful evening and a nice weekend. Thank you again, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next time.